Hello, I'm Mark and welcome to Little Known Stocks, the show where I try to prove that being boring and doing your research will make you money. Now today I wanted to talk about a question that I've seen a lot in the comments section and in other YouTube videos. Why are my crypto exchanges going down? And if we look at the likes of Coinbase since they IPO'd, they've just been on a steady decline. Voyager over the past month or so has just been on a decline. My favourite big digital assets has been massively on a decline since its peak. So what's happening? Well, firstly, if we look at the charts, it's worth noting that these stocks have had a massive run up prior, with the exception of Coinbase with their IPO. They've had a massive run up, and the likes of big digital assets, for example, are just coming down from their peak. That's natural. In stocks, and people need to realize after a big run up there's going to be a sell-off, and that's just part of trading. But I do think there's a lot more going on here, and I wanted to talk about a theory that I've got. It's my theory, so it could be completely wrong, and I'd love to hear from you if you have a conflicting theory, if you see holes in it. It's all part of a discussion that I like to build and have on this channel. Well, there are two other things I think that are going on. The first one, if you look at the top cryptos, so we've got Bitcoin that's been pushing all-time highs for 60, 90 days here. And you can see actually Bitcoin's been relatively flat, but over the last 90 days, it's increased by 50% over the last, well, year to date, it's up 100%. That's the worst performer really in the crypto market. And beyond that, it's difficult to find another crypto that hasn't increased year to date by more than 300%. For those who don't know, Tether just keeps steady with the US dollar, so that's not a true value growth crypto. Litecoin hasn't done so well, it's only up 178%, poor Litecoin, but you can see that these others are absolutely flying. The ones that are all the rage these days are Ethereum. All the rage these days, Ethereum's been around for ages, but Dogecoin is the one that everyone's FOMO over, and there's this 12,275% gain year to date, which is absolutely astronomical. And if we look at the market cap of Bitcoin alone, it's over $1 trillion, and that's just Bitcoin. Market cap for the total crypto market surpassed 2 trillion, and this was a month ago in April. I fully expect, we might even have another trillion, maybe even more on top of this at the moment. So there is massive amounts of money going into cryptocurrency. Now, why are my exchanges not going up at the same time? Well, the first thing is really simple. It's opportunity cost. And there is a lot of FOMO at the moment in terms of crypto. If you see your crypto's gone up 12,000%, your exchange has gone up 50%, what are you going to do? You're likely, if you're thinking FOMO, you're going to go to crypto. And a lot of the people that are buying the stocks are people who are also buying crypto. So that's one really important thing to remember. $2 trillion doesn't come from nowhere. It has to be taken from somewhere. It's worth noting that you don't actually have to spend 2 trillion to get a 2 trillion market cap, but there is a significant amount of money being put into crypto, and that has to come from somewhere else. Now, the other thing that compounds this issue is that Wall Street and the big hedge funds have no skin in this game whatsoever. So if we look at the ownership of this one's big digital assets, you can see 87% is owned by the general public. I've never seen another share class with ownership like this. You can see institutions 3.1%. If we look at Voyager, 86.9% owned by the general public. So huge public ownership, and these people are the same people who are potentially speculatively buying cryptocurrency. So it really will make a huge difference to the share price. If I compare that to another company that I looked at recently, Beyond Meat, institutions own 52% of Beyond Meat, which is just a completely different game, and Wall Street are really looking closely at this stock. They're interested in it. It would take one hedge fund to seriously invest in a company like Voyager or big digital assets, and it will be a game changer for the stock because it would just drive that buying pressure, which we just don't have at the moment. But it's not just that Wall Street aren't buying and adding to the buying pressure, they are also adding to the selling pressure. So not massive numbers, but you can see the short interest. This is big digital assets, has been steadily building over time and up to nearly 2 million short interest. You can see versus the shares outstanding, that's not very big still, but it is adding to the selling pressure. Similar with Voyager, it's just been building steadily over time. Again, not very big, but it's still contributing more selling pressure than it is buying pressure. So what does this mean, and what can we do with this information? Well, the first thing is, I think really you need some institutional investors to get these stocks moving to the upside. And unless institutional investors really come on board, I don't think we're going to see the 10x, 100x potential that some people want from these stocks. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not serious upside in these stocks. So you can see my lovely chart here. Let's talk through a few potential scenarios. So the first one, and the one that I think is most likely, is that we see a pullback at some point in crypto. It may continue on, it may bull run for another 2, 4, 6 months, who knows. But eventually it will come down, it has to. So let's call this crypto 1, whatever it is. Let's say that it starts to fall. It starts to fall. And we see some big selling pressure, maybe bull trap, whatever. We see some big selling pressure and maybe we level out somewhere down here. So this crypto has sold off. You see a lot of people moving out of crypto if this happens. But what happens to the likes of Big Digital, Voyager? Well, they're based on volume, and selling pressure is volume. It's driving volume. They will report some serious earnings if we see big sell-offs in the market. So they'll continue along here, and potentially when crypto falls, they may fall as well, and you may see further downside because people will be associating them with crypto loss and will be bailing out potentially of the stock. But further along the line, they'll report some big earnings growth due to the volume that they've seen, and they will peak again, and people will start to see them as a serious business, whether rain or shine in the crypto market. But then what happens further down the line is maybe the volume starts to decline, and we might see a second's earnings, and again it could give poor earnings. So really there's a catch-22 on these types of stocks, where you can see some really good times when crypto's falling, but you could also see some really bad times later on when the volume drops, and it really is just a volumes game for these stocks. So what remains to be seen is, can crypto not maintain its price but maintain its volume? And with more people coming into the crypto market than ever before, we've got Elon Musk on SNL tonight. Lots of people are speculating he might talk about Dogecoin. It remains to be seen, can the volume be sustained? If it can, great. We start to see these stocks maintain a much higher level, and potentially the future peaks can be maintained. But really, this is the first time we're testing these real highs and lots of public people buying into crypto, so we just don't know what's going to happen. Now let's talk through the second scenario, that crypto continues to increase in value, and it is deflationary, or some of them are deflationary in nature. So let's assume that maybe a few dots along the way, but maybe crypto continues to grow and the overall market cap continues to expand for crypto. In that scenario, I think what we'll see is a similar trend for the likes of Big Digital and Voyager. I think it will be a much slower burn, but I think as people start to see crypto as a more valid form of investment, alternative asset class, let's say, you'll see maybe you'll continue to drop, maybe people will be moving out, but what we want is the FOMO stage to end. We want people to be not whacking all their money into crypto in furious speculation. We want steady growth in crypto. And what you might see if you do start to see steady growth in crypto and it become more mainstream and more of a accepted asset class, is you'll just see a steady trickle up. You won't see these explosive growth opportunities, but you will start to see just people accept that crypto's here to stay, and the prices of the stocks will start to move up over time, particularly if the volume is maintained. And again, it's all about volume. So those are my thoughts, and as I said, it's just a theory. I'd love to hear back if you disagree or agree with me in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, but otherwise, have a good day.